Hi there, and welcome to The InEVitable. This is the MotorTrend podcast where we talk about the future of the car. What does that mean? What are they going to look like? What powers them? Are they even going to have steering wheels? We'll talk about all of that and more. I'm Johnny Lieberman. I'm joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Ed Lowe.
Hello.
And today we have a guest who goes way back with Ed.
Way back for me.
Back.
Looking forward to chatting with
more than 2 decades.
More than 2 decades. An old friend from really the earliest days of me getting into automotive publishing. A guy by the name of Jon Pek. I used to know him as DJ Mr. Jon P. He was like an EDM, like a house dance music DJ.
So let me ask you this: he modifies Teslas for just to be real quick because we have a whole hour to talk to him. But put yourself back 21 years ago. I think is when you started. Would you like if I showed up and said, "Hey, guess what? In 21 years, you'll be the head of editorial for MotorTrend Group, and you'll be interviewing this DJ here who's got this very successful electric car tuning company."
Yeah, I'd be like, "What are you talking about? You're crazy." I met him back when I just had gotten started in this business, in the aftermarket business, and I tell people, like, if MotorTrend is planet Earth, I started not even on Pluto. I started on like a little asteroid that was sort of wandering out.
Me too, by the way. Right. Yeah.
And I managed to a series of very lucky hops, planet hopping.
Yes.
Landed on the mothership, or landed on Earth.
Yeah, I got to Mars and then made the jump to Earth. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But John it should be an interesting conversation because we met back in like 2001, and then stayed close as I was in the aftermarket side doing like Fast and the Furious tuner stuff. Mm-hmm. But then like he went off and did something, started his own company. I was doing more mainstream car stuff, and we only recently like sort of reconnected. And it was because of this podcast. I was like, oh man, because I'd been tracking his company, which you introduced, T Sportline. Mm-hmm. They claim to be the world's first Tesla tuner. So we're going to talk to him about that. Ask him what that business,
this is good because I think we've had the other world's first Tesla tuner.
Right, and I am going to ask him directly whether like what's the take, because we had Ben Schaefer and Randy Popes who are doing Unplugged. Yeah. Track day Teslas, like. How is this? Which one of you guys is first?
Yeah.
And then also, what else is he doing? Because we did have a text conversation about what are some hot EV companies that maybe he should be looking at.
Right.
For aftermarket.
Well, I just got out of a Lucid, which it'd be interesting because that's a car where I wouldn't change a thing,
Right.
But that's the funny thing. I remember I had this talk with John Hennessy years ago. We're drag racing. I was driving a Porsche Turbo S, 911 Turbo S across country, stopped by John's shop, and he had at the time, it was crazy. It was a 700 horsepower Cadillac CT SV, and drag racing against the turbo, and the Porsche was just destroying the thing.
Right.
And I remember John's like, yeah, I tuned these too. And I'm like, why would you even tune this? And he's a total Texas answer. He's like, well, man, you got 2 buddies. They got the same car. One of them's got to be able to beat the other one. Right. So, but anyways,
that's interesting to me. But what I'm really curious about, and we'll get into it, is like I feel like we're reaching the point in performance with a lot of these EVs. Like it's what else are you going to differentiate on there? Everything's fast. Everything's good. The range question is going to be answered.
They can go a little faster. But anyways, let's get John in here.
Okay.
And we'll answer all these questions and more.
Alrighty.
On this episode of The InEVitable.
Happy, elated to talk to a name from the past, old friend.
Yeah.
Jon Pek. I knew him as DJ Mr. Jon P back in the day. But these days, he is known as the co-founder of the world's first Tesla tuner, a company by the name of T Sportline, which we will talk about eventually. Also, where he thinks the EV aftermarket is going. But before that, I want to talk a little about how you got here, what you've been doing, car interests.
But you're leaving out the best part, which is he just got a Rivian.
He's just got a Rivian. We'll get there, and we'll get there.
I'm just saying it's very interesting to me.
So, John, welcome.
Thanks, guys.
Yes. So let's get into it real fast.
Well, let me just say this to the audience. You two have a lot of history. I'm meeting you for the first time, but Ed and John go way back to Wheels of Steel days.
Way back to a little magazine, actually printed on paper. It was a bi-monthly. It was called Import Racer with an exclamation point. It was my first magazine job. I had recently left my first gig after college, which was I was a high school science teacher. It's a long story. And I worked for a mutual friend of ours, this guy named Kevin Yee, whose parents were in the publishing business, and he had a very small publishing operation in Orange County. I started as a photographer. All of the current photographers at MotorTrend staff, they don't like to hear that. They also think it's, quite frankly, it's BS, and it's fine because it was shooting film back in the day. Anyways, Jon was literally, I think, my first assignment. I don't know if he knows that. Yeah, he did.
I do remember that we were out in Alameda.
Yeah.
Like driving in circles.
Right. I was hanging out of the back of a car.
Right.
So how green and dorky was Ed? Please share with us.
It didn't even occur to me.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Tell the truth.
Did not even occur to me.
Right.
But Jon's car was the first feature I both shot and wrote. But
And
prior
Jon,
to that,
what sort of car was this?
This was a 1999 Mercedes C230 compressor.
With a K.
With a K.
Yeah, baby.
Supercharged.
German supercharged.
this was about 2002 or 3 or 1?
2001.
2001 when we
Yeah.
shot it, right. And,
Wow, so that's over 20 years.
2001. Yeah,
20 years.
We've known each other half a lifetime.
And
Yeah.
it's not the car. Just so it was black. It was not a stock. Let's just say it was not a stock C230 compressor. It had basically everything you could find on the market that was nice put onto it. And that back in the day, that was actually not a lot, right? I think did you have the first? Did you have a kit on
Yeah.
it? What was it?
Had a Lorenzer kit.
That's right.
And then, yeah. When's the last time you heard that name?
At a gas station, I saw a S65 like 3 generations ago with the Lorenzer kit. They did basically just like carved holes in the side of the fenders.
Right.
You know, that's the kit.
Right.
Yeah.
That was their
Wow.
that was kind of
speed
their
holes.
design language.
Yes. Just
right?
get the knife out.
Fender vents.
Yeah.
Right. But this was a baller. I mean, this was a baller car back in the day when I think people were tuning. I mean, yes, aftermarket tuning was not a new thing, but I think getting serious about European cars that weren't just like VWs. This was you were pretty far ahead of the curve in terms of. Here's the thing. I remember back in the day. This was prior to the launch of the Scion brand, and I had a long chat with the guy who was launching. His name is Jim Farley. He's now the CEO of Ford, small company, Ford Motor Company. Back then, he was helping to launch the Scion brand, and he said, "Hey, we did all this market research, and the market is going to go towards young kids tuning BMWs." Rear drive cars, BMWs and Mercedes-Benz, but mostly BMWs. We think that's where.
So they launched a front-wheel drive brand.
But this was like 5 years after I met Jon. This is like 2000, I think 4 or so, and I was like, it's baloney. And then now, like you go turn on like Formula D, and all these guys are like drifting like old BMW M3s and stuff. But I think you were like way ahead on this. So let's talk about where'd the car passion come from?
The car passion definitely came from a childhood friend of mine before I could even drive. Mm-hmm. And I'd be hanging out at my best friend's house, and his brother was into cars. And he would be accessorizing anything from a Jeep to his parents' like Mercedes-Benz to a Typhoon.
Nice.
And a lot of it just had basic wheels and car audio.
Okay.
So if I were to be honest, I probably was more inspired by 12-volt car audio.
Right.
Back in the day.
Because back in the day.
That was big, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
Right.
I remember car shows where you'd go and who had the loudest subwoofer.
Right.
That was the thing. That was,
right.
And that's also at the time when I did this feature on your car, you had a pretty massive audio system in the back.
Yes.
And your side hustle was you were a DJ.
Yeah.
Or was that your main hustle at the time?
No, it was a side hustle. It's a hobby, passion also.
So just the kind of music Johnny was into too, like not at all.
Well, what was it? What kind of music?
It was a lot of EDM before EDM even got popular.
Yeah, not my thing. That's fine. Good for you. Good for Ed. Doesn't even like that. Ed listens to like Mariah Carey. So.
That's not true.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Pop music. Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Sorry.
Yeah. The musical taste of a 13-year-old girl.
Yes, he does.
So you were doing EDM. A lot of. I don't want to misquote it. So, dance music.
Dance music.
Yes.
House music.
House music.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good.
Yep.
DJ Mr. Jon Pek. But how did you fund? Because your car, modifying. Your car was only. You spent basically. You bought it new, and you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought it new. I was working at the time at an investment bank, and I was living at home. And,
So you had some cash.
Yeah, had some cash, living at home, Asian family, keep the kids at home until until they get married and this and that. So I was saving money, but at the same time, those first couple years out of college, I was hemorrhaging money.
Sure.
On cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. All my cars. Yeah.
What else did you
Well,
have?
this was like through those many years, right? That car, and then came the next one in probably around like 03. I bought a I think it was a 216 chassis, CL55.
Okay.
Yeah. And also supercharged that car.
Right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then when did you launch?
Great car. By the way, real quick, CLs are like some of the most underrated of the Mercedes models. Like they're just brilliant.
Most aerodynamic car of that generation.
Yeah, they're just brilliant cars.
You would roll down the window and you wouldn't hear anything.
No B pillars.
Yes, no B pillars.
Part of the reason.
That's right.
Yeah, just gorgeous, beautiful
That's
cars.
right.
Yeah.
And so you were into the luxury end of this stuff from the beginning.
Yes.
And then when did you launch Gennari?
Gennari was 02.
Okay.
And what's Gennari?
Gennari was set up, basically, I conceived that to be a import-export company for luxury automotive accessories.
And you will recognize the name and probably gasp in shock and awe and horror. One of the brands you imported was Mansory.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Hey, you know what? I mean, they're so consistently wrong that it's kind of fascinating.
But let's talk about
So
it. When did you
You think Lorenzer took out the knife, right?
Oh, Mansory is no. I mean, Lorenzer is like restrained, high class. It's discreet compared to what Mansory does. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm always trying to make sure
We're probably not going to get Mansory on the podcast.
Well, hang on. I'm just trying to always make sure we're talking to the level of our audience, and I'm sure not everybody understands some of these brands, right? So, if you think about the brands back in the day, AMG, before they were like fully corporately owned, it was like AMG was like the hot stuff, and Lorenzer was the hot stuff, and then you had like BMW M, and you had
AC Schnitzer,
right?
And don't forget about Brabus.
Brabus
is still the king.
But Mansory came is like the second wave, right?
Yes.
And they were and let's be clear, because we all joke about in the auto industry, like we go to Geneva Motor Show, and you just look at this. Oh my God, you want to vomit? Look at what Mansory did. This guy was into Mansory back in when did you first import the first Mansory?
Probably 05, 06.
So this is like
Bentley GT.
Well, so in 2008 was my first time I saw Mansory. Might have been 7, but I went to Geneva show.
Yeah.
And there's Mansory, and they had like a bubblegum pink, matte pink Continental
GT.
And I'm like, you know what? That kind of looks all right? And I walk up, and they wouldn't let me on the booth. I remember they were like, "Who are you?" And I was nobody.
Right.
To be fair to them, I literally was nobody in 2007. But I was like, I want to check this thing out. And I got up and I peeked my head in, and it had it was again matte pink, and it had a shag orange and purple fuzzy interior. And I was like, that's the most disgusting colorway I've ever seen in my life.
But Mansory is responsible for these wild body kits, basically.
Oh, they do body, but they also do like leather on top of leather.
Sure.
They also do like Dayglow leather. They do like unnecessary hood ornaments that look like Crystal Lalique sex toys. I mean, they're out of control.
Well, we're explaining this to John. Are we accurate? Are we accurate, John? Like, what was your best-selling product when you were repping Mansory? What did you?
I mean, it goes through the generations of cars, right? Where's your addressable market? And at the time, it was the Bentley GT.
Okay.
Right. That resurgence of the GT just put Bentley back on the map. Right,
the Continental GT. This is the two-door, made for NBA ballers, like that car.
Yeah,
and you were primarily what, like lip kit and wing, or
full bumper?
Full bumper.
Yeah, full bumper replacement. Right, rockers, rear bumper, wing.
Wheels.
Yeah,
Mansory wheels.
That was the formula.
Yeah. What were the what size were we talking about? It was like crazy to do. What was it, a 20?
No,
even?
2022s.
2022s.
Yeah, 2022s.
Big lip or like?
No. German design language. They were never into really the lip thing. Okay. I think that was more American born.
Okay.
No, flat face. Definitely German.
Fill it up, lots of spokes, shiny.
Yeah.
We famously tested a Mansory. It was a Panamera Turbo S.
Okay.
They gave it to us. We tested it, and it was slower than a stock Panamera Turbo S, which we thought was funny. Then
It's possible.
I won't say which staff member it was, but said, "Hey, I was watching porn last night, and guess what? That Mansory that we tested, was in the movie."
Oh wow.
I haven't heard this.
Yeah, they gave it to the porn makers before they gave it to MotorTrend, which is, we should know our place, but it was
that sounds about right.
Yeah,
the Panamera.
You could guess who they were.
The Panamera was actually the second wave, I feel, of Mansory. Yeah, when Porsche conceived that car, Mansory had their wide fender arch package. I mean,
so what? Okay, so
let's get off Mansory.
So Gennari was repping. Where you were bringing in import-export from Mansory,
right?
Wald,
Japan.
So Wald is like a Brabus, I would say, right? Or more like a
yeah, but very simple in the sense that it was just wheels and body kits.
Okay.
Nothing really beyond that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But cool. I like Wald.
Yeah. Very VIP style back in the day. Matriculated into more of an executive, classy
OEM plus.
Yeah, OEM plus.
Okay.
Which is where and all these things gave me a lot of ideas. Right.
Any other notable brands you were bringing in?
That was it. There was a couple here and there that short time. Revere.
Okay.
We brought in Revere
What
for a
was
while.
Revere?
Revere is a Land Rover accessory company.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
So that was kind of like we were mainly going up against Overfinch.
Yeah, and that was like Range Rovers and Range Rover Sports. Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
I think Overfinch, they actually release vehicles with Land Rover. They're sort of they have a pretty close relationship with the company. Because they did do it was a famous it was an Overfinch Range Rover that the factory put out, and it was only in the UK or something.
Got it.
But it had like a rifle. It came with a really fancy for duck hunting type thing. Pheasant hunting.
Okay.
So you were bringing in these vehicles. Your company was doing pretty good. What was your who was your customer? Who would you say? Like if you had to
we were all B2B.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just shops around the nation.
Okay. Any shop that touched a luxury car is in our customer database.
Okay.
Yep.
And then they did have a picture on the wall or a catalog, and one of their customers walks in and says, "I got a G-Wagon. What do you got
for me?"
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, to the people listening that say, "Wait a second, you're buying like a Bentley Continental GT, which is about $200,000 back in the day, and then you're going to modify it? Like who says I'm buying a nice watch and I'm gonna modify it? Like what, you know what I mean? Like what's that mentality? Where's that come from? Do you think?
I mean, I think it's gals who've always wanted to just be different, right? Individualize their car. I mean, wheels at the least are the first thing you're gonna put on your car.
Right.
Right. And a lot of these people were probably coming out of, Mercedes and BMWs. Probably not an Audi, but I've definitely said BMW.
I know for sure. I know this very well. Bentley Continental was typical owner had previously owned 3 Mercedes CLs.
There you go.
And they're just bored at that point. They're like, you know what? I'm not going to buy the next CL. I've already had 3. What else is there that's a big giant
they
coupe?
Either had a Wald kit, a Brabus kit, or a Lorenzer kit on their CL or S class, and now they're in this hot new car. Bentley Continental GT.
What did the Mansory kit cost for GT? Remember, like how much would it?
Back then, I'm sure
to the customer
end users.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were paying close to sub 20, sub 20.
Just for the kit to put it on would be to be another how much to get it on?
I think sub 20 all in.
So like 10% of the car's value.
Yeah, 10% of the car value. Exactly.
Okay. So that's reasonable, right? That's
wheels. Probably another $4 or $5 right?
Okay. This was not in my plan to ask, but I have to ask now because. Well, no, this I just want to hear your opinion. Like, so you were doing this 06 to what? How long did Gennari around until T Sportline?
Or no, it's still existing today.
You're still doing? You're still repping this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
I mean, we're not. It kind of runs itself. We have a client base. I mean, it's a very niche.
Okay.
Right. Who your buyer is.
So. you're like, again, ahead on when you start seeing like Liberty Walk body kits coming in or guys doing RWB stuff like chopping up Porsches. What is it? Does any of this go through your head? You're like,
yeah,
that's cool.
I knew of Liberty Walk because I would go to the Tokyo Auto Salon.
Right. Well, let's tell everyone what's Liberty Walk because you want
Liberty Walk are if you've seen they're real popular on Instagram, maybe a little bit on TikTok now, but they are like when you see like an Aventador, like a crazy Lamborghini, some Ferraris. Mostly, GTRs, like with crazy wide bodies. The things are just dumped on the ground. They look like a Lamborghini or a Nissan GTR on steroids. It's probably a Liberty Walk body kit that you're looking at.
And then RWBs. I like RWBs. Those are the ones where just how wide can you make a 911 turbo?
RWB, Rawwelt Begriff. It's Rough World. It's a Japanese take on sort of a tuning German cars, mostly Porsches, all 911s. All
911s. But not
insane,
really.
Insane wings, insane
hips,
metal, right? Are they metal?
Yeah, they're metal.
Metal over fender for the rear. So you talk about having a fat lip. You can put like a Coke can height in the rear, and then side skirts that touch the ground. Like it's. And then they famously would name the cars after their favorite alcohol or beer or whatever.
Right.
So
what's the main guy from RWB? He's just every time you see him, he's smoking. He's always working on the cars.
Nakai.
Yeah.
Nakai-san.
Yeah. So like I was like,
and he does it, and he does them all by hand.
Yep.
Like he's got.
I think they're killer. I love them.
As a Porsche 930 owner, I think they're killer because they're taking a lot of other Porsches out of the market. I don't know if my main criticism is I don't know that they increase the value of the car.
Well, they don't increase the performance, but they look really cool.
Yes. So anyways, I was meant to ask you what you thought of like this trend about like just insane like body kits, low, like all that stuff.
I mean, it's definitely not necessarily my cup of tea, but obviously, they found an addressable market, and I think that's what it's all about. More power to them.
Businessman, look at this guy.
Well, but like the RWB, first time I saw one, I was like, that looks like Moby Dick. Like they literally have a street car that actually looks like the race car. It's so cool. And then I learned about it. I was like, oh wow, it's just like one crazy guy in Japan doing it. Like that's awesome.
Right. So. Yeah, I think it's smart. I think we're. It's probably smart to keep your thoughts to yourself on this, Ed. I'm just gonna tap my.
Look, I think we leave it at the world. The world is a big place.
There's room for mansory.
There's room for everybody.
Right. Okay. So let's talk through this time. So you're repping a company, import export. You had a CL. What else? What are the cool cars? Get us into. I'm trying to land on Tesla T Sportline, but just kind of what's going through your.
Man, Cayenne.
Okay.
With the Mansory body kit. Oh. Fully done up.
Wow.
Panamera. Same thing.
And you got married at this time? Around this time?
I got married in 2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was what is the car that brought home that you got married in, and then that you took your first kid back from the hospital?
Ooh.
Did you get something fancy for your wedding or no? It was just one of your own cars?
S-Class.
Okay.
That's fancy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Baller. I love it.
I had a Panamera for my wedding.
I had a Bentley. I borrowed it last minute. I was supposed to fly to their wedding, and then we realized we couldn't fit every bag in the airplane. So we took a car. And thank you, Aaron Bonner.
Thank you. Oh, man. Gary Fong, actually.
Wow, Gary Fong.
This is going way back. Gary Fong hooked me up with the Porsche, yeah.
Got it.
Back in 2010.
You got me.
You don't remember? Blanking?
Thinking S. Yeah. I think, yeah.
What did you get?
13 S-Class.
First kid?
Yeah, what'd you take? What'd you bring back in?
We had an all-road, Audi all-road.
Okay. Yeah. That's my wife's Audi. I use the little
both Audi.
A3.
Hey, look at us.
All right.
So
you had a few cars, and then
a lot of Mercedes.
What was the Cayenne turbo? There was another company that did like it was with an A. They did a body kit for the Cayenne turbo. Really crazy looking front end.
Tech Art.
Yeah.
Tech Art Magnum.
Yeah.
That was a classic too.
Yeah. A friend of mine just bought one, and it's like I was laughing at her, and then I kept looking at it. I'm like, it's kind of cool.
I believe that's what caused Mansory to make one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the TechArt Magnum was like the car, the SUV.
Is TechArt only body kits, only exterior stuff too?
Generally, they have performance, but I think
they do.
Most people on this side of the pond, body kits and wheels.
Yeah, I think they do springs, right?
They have
do
suspension.
Lowering. Yeah.
Yeah, they have suspension.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Suspension plugins for the air suspension as well. But
right.
Yeah.
So, yes. That's where I know it from. A lot of people.
Yeah.
So you have like a dozen years in the industry, from an enthusiast to, and you were going to SEMA. How many SEMAs had you been to?
I've lost count.
Okay, so
It's definitely in the double digits.
Oh,
okay.
God.
So the Specialty Equipment Manufacturers Association, big show in Las Vegas every October, late October, early November.
Yep.
And then look, Tesla comes out. We tested it in November of 2012. It was our 2013 car of the year. Tell us about that point. Like, when did you get into one, and then when did Tesla sort of pop up on your radar, and then how did T Sportline come about?
Tesla popped up on my radar through my business partner,
Okay.
who was also a Gennari customer.
Oh, okay.
And he was buying a lot of Rolls-Royce
Okay.
body kits and wheels from us, accessorizing them for the dealer.
I'm sorry. What's a Rolls Royce? Which Rolls Royce body? A Mansory Rolls Royce body kit?
No, it was actually a Wald
Oh.
Rolls Royce body kit.
Okay.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah, for the Ghost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and what's a lot of when you say he's buying a lot of? Like
A dozen.
Okay.
Yeah, one a month, which is pretty good.
Okay.
And when Tesla started to deliver Model S's in 2012, they didn't have any parking sensors. They didn't have any autopilot. They didn't have any lane warning technology in the car yet.
Okay.
So he had a 12-volt background. He was actually a franchise owner of a couple Allen Ed stores.
Okay.
Right. And he was right down the street from the original Tesla service center. That's still there, right, on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. It's there.
Wait, that's also down from Klaus CEC.
Yeah,
which is now the Pirelli.
Yeah, the
Pirelli,
midway point.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
the midway point.
Wow, that's wild.
So all these owners are like, well, I just came out of my Mercedes and my Audi or BMW. Where are the parking sensors?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
They weren't like stunned by everything else. Like, look at this giant the touchsry in the car,
I don't know, but there was just a lot of missing tech.
Okay.
And he filled that gap.
Okay.
But he knew there was obviously going to be demand for cosmetics and accessorizing, and he was like, these things are so plain and under accessorized, right? It's not like a Mercedes or Audi or BMW or even a Lexus. So he called me over and he's like, hey, can you make, you have the background in body kits and wheels and exterior accessories.
Huh.
Can you make some parts for me?
And what'd you say?
I said no.
Like, I'm an importer.
Right.
I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, okay.
Oh, I knew how.
Okay.
It's just, if you remember, like 2012, I mean, we all remember 08, 09, right? I mean, it was a pretty crazy time.
Yeah. Well, for some of us, very bad times.
Yeah. Pretty crazy, right?
No money. Yeah.
No money. People losing their houses. People with money not spending. And so I was really focused on, my business, my own business, Gennari, and just kind of keeping my eye on the ball and, getting everything back together and just being smart. But he wouldn't take no for an answer.
Nice.
So this is sometime in 2012, and I've told this story a couple times, and he came back to me with a different proposal, and we went for it.
But it was interesting that it was for body kits and not something simple like wheels. Like I thought for sure it'd be like, oh, it's just like, let's put some.
Well, it was but we started with a couple carbon parts, and then we quickly matriculated and diversified into wheels.
Okay.
What was the second proposal?
The second proposal was like, hey, here, you make the stuff, I sell it. Look, if we walk away and make $500 a month, what's the big deal? Right. Some extra pocket cash. I'm like, I don't do anything for $500.
I like how you think. Go ahead.
And neither does he. But
right.
we were just going back and forth and like, okay, right, let's just give it a shot.
Now, did you have any idea then that Tesla was going to sell as many vehicles as they do today? Did you have any notion?
Not a clue.
Well, so that's actually it's a great question. That's exactly what I was thinking. What was your first impression? Were you like, get out of here with this Tesla stuff, or were you like,
well,
no,
I knew about Tesla because I'd seen some Roadsters. He had been accessorizing Roadsters since they came out in 2008.
Okay.
He was the customer facing guy, and he had clients, and I'd pop into his shop back then, and I'm like, oh, what's this? And I'm like, oh, I think I've seen one of these in my building.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
But you were used to working with Bentley.
Right.
It back then made 5,000 cars a year globally. Rolls-Royce was 3,000 cars a year globally. So you're used to working with these brands that don't sell. There's not a lot of volume.
Correct.
Okay.
Niche.
Yeah, very niche.
So then the Model S comes out, and you're like, so when did you get one? Are you like, cool?
I got one in the first quarter of 2013. So I wasn't far behind.
Pretty early adopter.
But were you sold, or you like, this is my new business, I got to get one of these things to figure it out?
I'd driven the cars. I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. There was definitely interest and in the brand I can see, and as time went on, I was like, wow, I think we can do something with this.
What did you get? Which car did you get? A P85?
I got an 85.
Okay.
Right, I felt like we were switching through, my business partner and I were switching through Teslas like iPhones.
Yeah.
Because then they would release a P85D the following year, right in Q4. Right. If I remember correctly, in 2014, hey, we got to get that car.
Right.
We got to each get. It was. And then he would get a black one. I would get a white one.
Okay.
Right, and then the P100.
Right.
And just kept going.
So on.
Going.
No,
yeah.
it actually went to the P90.
P90. There was a P90.
There was a 70. There was a 60.
There was a 60 for a 2
hot
seconds.
second.
Yeah.
There was actually a 40.
Really?
Yeah.
There was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is silly
did they ever
because
sell it?
they all had the same.
Not many.
Okay.
They all had the same battery pack built in. It was just whether you unlocked it or not.
Sure. I thought the 70 and the 85 had a different pack.
I remember that we had a 70.
But the 60 and the 70 were the same, and then you could be like on the app, like, I want more range, and you would unlock.
Tesla unlocked one. Did they go 60 to 75 first, or 75 to 90? They did it. We can do this.
They went from 60 to 75 when in the Gulf when they had that flood, and there was a lot. This was probably 2016. Yeah. When they had the flood down there.
Well, we were testing one, and they said that they could turn it to they could give it more power overnight, but they can't reverse it. So that was an OTA update.
That was a Model X, I believe.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was a Model X for SUV of the year, and it was like, do we want to have a bigger battery? Yes.
They definitely had the ability to extend the range.
Yeah,
right. On the small pack.
Okay,
right. And so it's funny because like I did a thing with Derek Jenkins, who's the head of design for Lucid, over the weekend, and people are asking about like his history, and he took Franz von Hohlhausen's job at Mazda when Franz left for Tesla, and Derek said, he's like, it's funny about Franz is he's just always hated like jewelry on cars. He hates chrome. He hates he wants everything simple. Right. And I think the Model S and all of them, they definitely reflect that. But like someone with your background, again, all these, Mansory that we've talked about, it's the bling bling.
Yeah.
And so when you first saw the Tesla, like you must have thought like, I'm looking at an unfinished product. What did you think of like the design, let's say, both in and out?
I mean, it was refreshing to see something so minimalistic and simple, very utilitarian. But I definitely, I've been like I've been through, right, the wild, the mild, the understated. So I'm like, look, this can really use a +1 feel.
What did you trade in? Assuming you traded in something for that car, what did you take in? Like, what were you going from when you got into that first Model S?
I think an S-Class.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think an S-Class.
That would have been what is it?
221 chassis.
The last gen.
Yeah, last gen.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
221 chassis.
That launched in like 2000.
I'm trying to remember the headlights.
Or
Were they like the blobby headlights? No. That was the one.
No, it was
that
a
was
handsome
one
car. Yeah, it was a handsome, good car.
All right, and then so how was business back then? Like, did it take off, or was it slow burn? Or
No, I think it was steady. It was steady growth.
Okay.
It was steady growth. S's everywhere, right? They were obviously delivering them into the backyard, California, Bay Area, L.A., OC, San Diego. And at that time, you could not lease a Tesla.
Right.
Yep. They didn't have their financing in place yet. They were hustling to get that going. So if you didn't come with your own check, you're not owning a Tesla. So what kind of demographic comes with their own check?
Right.
Yeah, wealthier.
Yeah.
And that's like Rivian now. You can't lease. I was like,
Right.
I was like, come on, guys. Like, one day.
Yeah.
So-
What were your first best-selling products when that first got going? Was it wheels?
Wheels.
Wheels.
Forged wheels.
Okay.
Forged wheels.
Larger size or just different?
No.
Oh,
21-inch replacements.
interesting.
Yeah. Factory tire. Just design.
How much were they?
I think they were like 5,000 a set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever get formal recognition from Tesla, Elon or Franz, anybody from the company ever say, that's some cool stuff, or no?
Not formal, but, all those guys were a lot more accessible back in the day at
Yes,
events.
they were. Yes,
I
they
mean,
were.
you could like walk up to Elon, high five him. I mean, he wasn't the richest man in the world at the time.
Right.
No. It's funny because I tell people all the time, like, yeah, I've met him a bunch of times. Like,
Right.
It used to be not a big thing. It was just another car
He'd be
CEO.
walking through the parking lot at one of their, design center events. I mean, we've been to all the events since day one, and he would come up, look at the cars, and like, it's cool. Yeah,
It's funny. I just reread our first review of our when we gave a car of the year. We got one a few months later to live with it's a long-term loan. It's part of the deal.
Right.
We get a car for a year afterwards so we can test it. And as Kim Reynolds wrote the story, and he wrote how Kim being Kim wanted to spec the car with the smallest possible wheel with the most sidewall, because he wanted a nice ride. He didn't want to have to deal with like a lot of mass. And apparently Elon had seen the order and said, no.
Yeah.
And upped the order, gave us a 21s. What is it, 21s?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gave us the 21s and all the bells and whistles over
Right.
it.
Yeah, lots of companies do that,
Right.
just so you know.
That's funny you say that, because back then it was just 19 or 21.
Right.
And it's still like that to this day.
Yeah.
To this day, take it or leave it.
They need a 17 option.
Right, but we identified that.
Okay.
We thought we knew who, the different, even within that demographic of early adopter, there were let's call it two sides. There was the guys who wanted 21s, but they wanted something a little sportier or different, and then there were the guys that wanted 19s with the most sidewall possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you ever put a bigger wheel, like a 22 or a 23 on a Model S?
No.
And what about on a Model X?
No.
Okay, and why not?
Factory +1.
Okay.
We don't want problems. We don't want headaches.
Gotcha.
We want you to be a happy customer.
Gotcha.
Come back when you get your next model in 12 months.
You're not messing around with wheel spacers or like rubbing fender liners and all that. Okay, cool.
No.
That's good.
No, it's a good. Actually, I want to come back to. I'll come back to that later because that's interesting what you say. What other parts of so let's we can move quicker through the evolution. So the company's growing. Obviously, doors opened literally. When the Model X comes out, the SUV.
December 25th, 2015.
Oh,
Okay. This guy knows his business. Right?
Well, that's Christmas.
We took delivery on Christmas Day.
So you're working on Christmas, yeah.
in Van Nuys at their service center on Havenhurst.
What color?
It was black.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the first Model X's.
And were you like, this thing's phenomenal?
We were so excited that we were literally driving it up and down Havenhurst. I don't know if you guys have ever been on that street.
Yes.
It's just an industrial street.
It's that weird part of the valley. Yeah.
Right, and there's not many people around on a sun. There's nobody around.
on Christmas.
Ferrari service centers on the same street.
Yeah.
Wings open.
Yeah.
up and down the street like cowboys, just kids. It was great.
You must have gotten a ton of just attention for having that car, being one of the first, right? People losing their mind when they saw you.
Yeah, absolutely. Wings up, wings down, wings up, wings down.
Yeah.
I mean, we put the motors in the real world testing overdrive.
Did you have any problems with that car?
Yeah, fair share.
I mean, we famously, this happened to me. It was SUV of the year, and I was opening the driver's side, Falcon door.
Yeah.
And it caught a piece of the trim, the chrome trim, and just pulled it out. I watched it, just pulled the trim off the back fender.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh, we can sit here for a work day, and I can tell you all of it. But we had our fair share.
That's interesting. I mean, I know you're probably not gonna. Tesla's had some quality issues. A lot of it kind of deal with the stuff on the interior. Has this been helpful or hurtful to you as a aftermarket supplier?
Both. Yeah, both.
Because you sell trim pieces.
Hurtful is when we're accessorizing, when we're taking them apart. Is we'll do full bespoke interiors, audio systems.
So I looked you up, and you do put like a ton of leather, like on the doors, and just places where they have kind of nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I was pretty impressed, actually.
Yeah, stitching, diamond stitching, square stitching. Yeah,
hexagons. I saw like little hexes.
You name it, we can do it.
Okay. But how's it hurtful?
Well, you take some of these cars apart, and things break.
Okay.
Yeah, assembly, this and that. Maybe some things weren't meant to be taken apart. So,
right.
So that's where it's hurtful. But helpful is we learn about the insides and outs of the car.
Interesting.
And it helps us like, hey, maybe we should make this.
Right.
How much of your business is that full custom, like crazy, this go nuts on the interior?
It's small because you're servicing again a super niche buyer, but I think that's a big allure of our company. It's like, if you really want your Tesla and you want to individualize it and make it your own, we can do it.
Right. I saw that Franz actually has a new company. It's called Holzhausen. Yeah, you check it out. Yeah.
What's he doing?
Vegan leather, first of all.
Oh, okay.
And
that's all the rage.
He does a full vegan leather interior for Tesla cars, which is weird because they're already technically vegan leather. But I guess it's like a natural color. It's a brown.
Yeah.
It's a saddle.
Oh, so it's not white or whatever.
Yeah. And it looks like leather, but then he has his wife has a brand. I think off of that they're doing
handbags.
Yeah. Yes.
Handbags.
Oh, okay.
So sounds like an exit.
He has time for anything.
Well, it sounds like an exit strategy. I mean, JB Straubel left. He's now at Redwood Materials.
Yeah.
Franz is arguably the last guy standing of that core executive team, other than
he probably got a good number of shares at some point.
Yeah, he doesn't have to work anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't have to work. So
sure,
vegan leather. He's got to kill a few vegans and take their leather.
Right.
They're all good to go.
That's the best. That's a Danielle line, which
is it?
Made from the finest vegans. I think it's.
Okay.
I love it. Anyways, okay. So Model X comes and goes.
I want to claim killing the vegans is my line.
Okay. Yes. Did you any other notable how did Model X change your business? Did it? Or did it?
Well, I think it gave us another outlet. Car number 2, SUV, totally different car. I don't want to say totally different buyer, but there are owners that, hey, I prefer a SUV, daily driving an SUV,
sure,
than a 4-door sedan.
Most actually, sedans are dying. I mean, most people want an SUV.
Yeah. Hence. Why the Model Y is so successful.
Well, I was going to say, so it must have really changed again when the Model 3 performance kind of came out, right? That would be the next
The Model 3 was definitely the game changer for us, and I think of everybody else that was looking at Tesla.
What for you? What was so game changing about the Model 3?
Right?
Volume.
It's the best-selling car in California, I think.
I believe it.
That's.
I know they're I'd say they're everywhere, but Model Ys are kind of everywhere.
I heard the stat. It was either that they already are or they're soon to be, but I couldn't remember whether it was Model 3 or Model Y.
It's a 3 because there's a lower price point. It was a 3.
Got it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, I never would have thought. I mean, I thought the Model S was really good. That's what I remember about Tesla. And then suddenly it's just taken over.
When I got my first 3 in 2017, I knew I got a long range, right? I didn't want to buy the performance just yet.
Right.
And I was preaching to everybody, not just because I was on the Tesla train, but this was my business side thinking. This car is going to decimate the C-Class, the 3 Series, the A4, and the IS.
And
it did
more than that, though, it killed Prius. There's a lot of people that drove a Prius that could afford a lot more.
That took a while. Yeah,
but
that took a while.
But Prius used to be the best-selling car in California.
Yes.
Now they're like something. I can't remember. Like went from 300,000 Priuses a year to it's like 40,000 now. I mean, it's just been dumped on. And because again, if you went around Brentwood and Beverly Hills, there was a lot of Priuses because people, they were conscious. They wanted to have a green car, and there really wasn't much that was popular. And then the Model 3 is like, well, if I can get out of this Prius.
Let's pause here for this, because I got a bunch of questions, because you've been a Tesla owner for longer than most of the people on this planet, because you picked up one early in 2013.
Well, how many Teslas have you personally owned?
We talked about this in the car. How many Teslas has your company gone through?
No.
I'd say 2 dozen.
Okay.
But you personally have
at least a dozen of that 2
Wow.
dozen.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we were going through cars like iPhones.
Yeah.
They got a new model, a new battery pack.
Yeah.
And a new there's new tech in this.
But you got to know, right? You got to know.
Sure.
Yeah.
So did you buy it? But you were buying and sell the other one.
Correct.
Okay. So you never had more than 1 or 2.
Two.
Than 2 at the most.
Yeah, there were times where we'd have an S and an X parked in my garage.
So let's talk about your garage, because I might have been just there. We carpooled together. So did you? And I'm not going to disclose everything, but you live in you don't live in a. Can you? How do you charge? Because you're in an apartment.
I have a dedicated charger in my parking spot.
You put that in?
Yeah.
You had to fight for it?
No.
Or no, you didn't. You just
No.
asked
How'd you do it? Let's hear the story, because I have a lot of friends with apartments.
We're talking about this right now at MotorTrend, our editorial team.
Okay.
So there's a great article last week that came out. Tipping point for EV adoption in the U.S. has happened. 5%. Finally, U.S. hit 5% of sales for Q2 of this year are electric vehicles, and it's 118,000 vehicles, EVs, pure EVs, sold that quarter. China's way ahead of us. They hit 5% in 2018.
Norway's way ahead.
Norway's 84% right now.
Yeah.
But one of the big conversation points about EV, how to make one, how to put one in your life, is one of the population trends has been Americans have moved towards cities. I think the pandemic sort of reversed that a little bit, but multi-unit dwellings, apartment buildings, it's really hard. And some of our staffers are having this problem. I can't put a charger in, my landlord won't let me, or the building's not set up for it.
That's correct.
So I want to hear
doesn't have the
story.
infrastructure.
Right.
How'd you get yours done?
So before the Tesla, there was Roadsters, I think Chevy.
Chevy had one.
Chevy,
there was also
the
Nissan,
Bolt.
Nissan Leaf.
The Leaf.
What was out there?
Yeah. So, West Side building, right? High income demographic. And I believe if the HOAs, California basically says the HOA can't deny you if you own, your property.
Oh, so you own the apartment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you're not renting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I own my condo.
It's a
right?
condo. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apartments converted to condos, right? That was extremely popular in 2005, 2004. And they can't deny you the right to install your charger.
Okay.
But what HOAs can do is, give us the whole presentation. Give us the engineering survey, give us this survey, give us that survey.
Yeah. All the stuff to stop growth. Yeah.
Exactly. All the red tape to say, yes, it's legal, and we can't stop you, but you have to make sure this is sustainable.
Environmental impact report on a charger.
The whole nine.
Yeah.
The whole nine. So I was in luck because 3 residents in my building just didn't care. It wasn't about the money. Okay. It was about convenience. And I want a charger in my parking spot. I don't want to go across the street, or I don't want to find a charging station, because in 2013 there was none. Yeah, exactly.
So you had the Gen 1. We have one in our building.
And you know what? It still works.
Really?
Yeah.
There's not much to them.
But you've upgraded, right?
No? I have the original Gen 1 2013.
How many kilowatts is that? Do you know?
It goes up to 80 amps.
Oh, 80 amps?
Yeah, I think it was like 100 rated, but it can go up to 80 amps.
How fast is it? How long does it take to charge like a Model 3?
From zero?
Sure.
I mean, 10 hours if you're at 0 to 300 miles.
Yeah, but I mean, from 20 to 80, it's 4 or 5 hours.
The kicker is when you live in a condo, I think L.A., in Los Angeles, they control how much amperage you can put through.
Interesting.
The charger. They cap the charger.
Huh.
Yeah. You live in a house, you're going full tilt.
We need to get that electrician on to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, because I mean I got the the new Rivian charger at home, and it's good. I mean, it takes the Rivian, the charge logic is you go from 20 to 70%. That's your daily thing. And it takes, if you're at 20%, it takes 4.5 hours to charge it, which is fine. You plug it in at night, and it's no big deal.
I mean, the reality of it, and this is a question, right? Every early adopter has been asked since the beginning of time, how long does it take you to charge?
Yeah.
How long does it take you to charge?
Yeah.
I'm like, and I try to explain it in layman's terms.
It's tough.
It's like a cell phone. How far do you drive? Where do you work? It's like, look, you're going to be home for 7-8 hours. You're fine.
Right. That's what I always tell. I just tell people. I always say I reject the question, and they go, "What?" I go, what's the range of your car? They go, "Huh?" And I go, "You have a car? What's the range?" Well, I don't know. Okay, doesn't matter because I only drive to 20%, then I charge it.
Yes.
And by the way, if it's a road trip, I'll charge it to 100%.
Correct.
It's just you have to do 2 seconds of thinking.
Right.
But it's and then most times it's just charged. It's just like your phone. You just wake up and you go.
But so
it sucks when you forget to plug it in.
Right.
Yeah. Or I'll give you this is a rare one, but I had a Lucid until a few hours ago, and my wife was driving down to San Diego this morning.
Okay.
So she's like, I want to charge to 85%. So I got home at 10 last night, and the Lucid was pretty dead, and hers had it was 45 minutes left to get to 85%. So I set an alarm. 10:45 I went out there, moved the cars.
Yep.
Put the Lucid on the charger. This morning the Lucid was at 80%. Her car was at 85%. It's. I had to set an alarm.
Your electric bill's going through the roof.
I got solar panels, baby.
All right.
It's all good. It's all good.
Well, okay. So you recently moved to Texas. How's the charging out there? Just as a.
I'm living in a house.
Okay.
But there's plenty of Tesla chargers.
Okay.
I was looking at a Taycan, and Porsche's they have a JV with, is it EVgo or Electrify America? It's one of the two.
It's Electrify America.
Okay.
It's Volkswagen company.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Volkswagen company.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, it's
There you
Electrify
go.
America.
Okay, so
yeah.
EA, they got a JV with EA.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, and it's free. You can charge it at EA charger for free.
Yeah.
So I look on. I was like, where are the EA chargers?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It's 45 minutes away, and I live in central North Texas,
Right.
right outside Dallas.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when you do eventually find one, their 350 kilowatt chargers are pretty awesome. They do
The
work.
350s are great.
Are great.
All the others
Are, yeah.
problematic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 350s are.
Yeah.
I mean, you should have seen the Lucid charge. It was sick. I had the charger to myself, and it was 39. Adding 39. It was doing a mile a second basically.
Nice.
It's just insane. 912 volt system. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So, okay, we got it. The guy came by and told us we're 45 minutes.
Yeah, but we got to talk about Rivian.
Yeah, we're gonna get
But
that. So I want to. You got all these. Now there's 4 vehicles in the lineup
Yes.
currently.
Let's get off Tesla.
On your site, there's one more, Cybertruck.
Yeah.
Because I clicked on the tab on your site, tsportline.com.
Yeah.
And you got a cool picture of a weird looking wheel.
Yeah.
Can you talk about anything? What would you be? What do you think a future Cybertruck owner is going to want more than a sunshade for that giant windshield or stone chip protection for all the rock chips?
I think without getting too deep into it, they're definitely going to want to lift it,
Okay.
right?
It's got air suspension, theoretically.
Air suspension.
So are you going to do what was that? What would that would be? Is that lower arms so that if you were to lift it, you don't get
I mean, you would either use a spacer or you'd do a complete replacement.
Okay.
Yeah, completely replace the airbag strut assembly.
Interesting.
So,
Do you have any intel on when Cybertruck's coming?
I don't.
Yeah.
But if I were to guess on I would say maybe a couple hand-built ones by the end of the year.
Interesting.
And I think that's a big maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they'll do that to, appease shareholders.
Oh, I see.
Just like, come on, guys.
So to claim that they're already starting deliveries.
I mean, I know they gotta completely downsize the car.
Well, there's that. There also
yeah.
that single stamp panel is turning out to be like
Sure.
an industrial nightmare.
Sure.
That's really holding them back from what I understand. Okay. But let's talk about what you're going to tune, because T Sportline, you're going to do more obviously than just Tesla.
Yeah, we've barely scratched the surface with Tesla. I mean, we're diversifying into all kinds of parts now.
Well, we
Okay,
can talk. We
like
can talk real briefly, because you're able to talk about this stuff now because you guys just actually got acquired.
Right. We brought on a partner.
Oh.
We took my partner and I took the company as far as we could as, sort of entrepreneurs and car guys. And we're like, man, we're sitting around like, how do we
like 10 years, right? Because you guys got started in 2012 or 2013?
2013.
2013. So
Yeah.
just almost to 10
8 years.
8 years.
Yeah, it seemed like a long time, but it was really quick. But we got kind of like very toppy, when you feel like, man, how do I get this thing to the next level? And, we had to find a partner that had that, enterprise background, because we know what we built can be so much bigger.
Right.
And we wanted to diversify into so many other things.
Okay.
And
so what other things are you getting into?
I mean, Rivian.
Yeah, baby. Let's
Right?
talk Rivian.
Rivian.
Well, I have a serious question though, because I have a Rivian. You have a Rivian,
Yes.
John. I wouldn't change a thing. I was thinking, because somebody asked me like, "Are you going to lift it?" I'm like, "Nope, got 15 inches of ground clearance. One less than a Humvee. It's fine."
I mean, the first thing I looked at was the natural thing, was the wheels, and I'm not like a huge truck guy. I love Ford Raptors, by the way.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's
They're
just
great.
something
Yeah.
about the Raptor.
No, they're cool.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, first thing I'm thinking, smaller wheels. Smaller wheels, bigger tires.
Right.
Right. 35,
So-
37.
So you go down, because I have 20s on mine.
Okay. You got the all-terrain.
Yeah,
the forged wheels.
Yeah, but I was looking at the brakes. I don't think you can go much smaller.
You're right.
Yeah.
We tried.
Okay. Yeah.
We even tried to do things that you probably shouldn't do to a wheel.
Right.
And our engineers were like, you can't
What's
do
the
that.
smallest wheel you can put on a Rivian?
At 20.
20. It's a 20.
Really?
You may be able to squeeze.
Same as a G-Wagon.
You may be able to squeeze a 19. It's actually, you probably could, but guess what? Nobody makes a tire.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a clearance.
It's
It's
just
a
not
caliper clearance issue. Or it's a
It's a caliper.
It's a
Yeah,
caliper.
it's a Brembo caliper. It's ginormous in every direction.
Remember, it's a 7,200 pound truck, so you're really stopping a lot of weight. Now, they could have, like a T-Rex is on 18s and it weighs about the same.
Yep.
And they could have done that, but they did. I was looking at the caliper and I'm like, that was a big ass
Big
caliper.
caliper. Yeah, you need to stop all that power.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what else? What else would you do?
We're looking at some. I mean, look, it's an expensive truck.
Yes.
Right.
Especially once they raise the price.
Yeah,
I got
exactly.
in early, so
I got in early too.
nice.
So, yeah, you're
Yeah, it's a $100,000
flirting. You're
truck.
flirting with 6 digits now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I mean, mine. If I bought mine now, it would be like 104.
right.
And mine was like 85.
Launch edition, special color.
Yeah, and
Yellow and green.
Every armor plated underneath, all the off-road stuff.
Got it.
The off-road recovery kit, the field kit.
Got it.
And you didn't even get the kitchen.
I don't want the kitchens.
Yeah, 6,000.
Now it's $6,750.
Okay, yeah.
It was $5,000.
6K kitchen.
Yeah, no,
I
$67,000.
feel like if you came in with a $4,000 kitchen, maybe.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody with a kitchen.
Oh, people are buying them.
Yeah?
People are buying them. Yeah.
This is the Rivian R1T has a gear tunnel that goes
Yes.
across the body of the vehicle.
It's behind the rear seat,
behind
in
the rear
front of the
seat,
bed.
and you can slide out a camp kitchen that stands on its own foot, and it has a sink with water and a 2-burner induction stove and storage for knives, a cutting board, cups, saucers.
Yeah, and then that sink is cool because it's it's electric and so you can spray off the dishes.
Yep,
which is the big advantage.
Right.
But and they kept saying, when we did the cross country thing, they're like, and we're gonna have more stuff you can pull out, and I'm like what? And they're like, we're gonna have more stuff you can pull out. They have a shuttle. They have it's an option you could get where it's like a pull out thing, and I was like, boy, that'd be good for like shotguns. You could have a lot of and they're like, oh, that's not the kind of company we are. I'm like, well, you're selling trucks to Americans, like you're gonna
true.
You're gonna need guns.
That's an expensive truck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's a very expensive shotguns out there.
yeah.
Yeah.
There are.
Oh yeah.
People love their guns.
But fishing poles, like all
sure.
crossbows,
all kinds of accessories,
outdoor stuff. Yeah.
Man, if you designed it,
probably what 3? You think you could fit 3 golf clubs in the three sets of clubs? Definitely 2.
Definitely 2. I mean, I've seen some golf bags that are so big on the bottom that, but it doesn't matter. You can put
do
like 20
a custom
in the
custom golf bag that fits in there, right? That would perfectly. Or I would say if you could fit like a collapsible e-bike into that space, that would somehow be charged while you're driving.
Well, there's a 110 volt plug in there.
Yeah. So there you go.
What about a winch? Because that's the one thing I'm like, boy, I'd like to have a winch.
Okay.
All right, there's an idea for you.
Right. Make it gas powered, just for fun.
Gas powered winch.
Yeah, that'd be funny. I'm just kidding.
That would not be funny.
Are you looking at any other brands? Any other EV brands capture your attention? Let's be clear. You're launching
for me personally, or
for the company.
For the company,
because you're spinning off. It's not T Sportline, right? It's going to be another.
Yeah, the brand is called InEVitable, but our main operating website is called EV Sportline.
Okay.
And that's really going to be, our goal is to make that the one-stop shop for all things EV.
EV Sportline.
EV Sportline.
And you're sort of ticking through.
Yeah, we're looking, hey, where's the addressable market? What do we think people are looking for, and should we get into this? Right?
But you're definitely getting into Rivian.
100. We're in Rivian. We're in Rivian.
Already been contacted?
I got to get your number.
Here, let me. How do you lift your car up?
What do you mean?
Like if you need to change a tire or like.
Never even thought about it.
Yeah, how do you lift your car?
I have no idea. How do you do it? There's no jack. You're right. Is there a jack? I never.
Do you got the spare tire package?
I do have a spare tire.
Okay,
yeah.
But they only give you one jack adapter.
I didn't even. I've never taken it out. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Get an exhaust jack. Wow. Yeah. I'm coming with it today.
Try the
wheel. When you go back downstairs, look at your car.
Yeah.
And just look under it really quick and go, how would I take a floor jack or a post or
I know where a floor jack. I know where the floor jacks go because we didn't get any flat tires, but everyone else got lots of flat tires. So I know where we had off-road jacks. I know where the hard points are.
Yeah.
And also I got the ceramic Kevlar under thing, so you could the whole underside's a jacking point if you want.
You got the full bulletproof vest.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah, which they didn't want to. They were like, don't even though we developed it with a bulletproof vest manufacturer, don't mention bullets. Yeah, but okay, so that's good.
We're looking at a lot of pragmatic things.
Yeah, and I think that's for that truck is appropriate.
Sure, I mean I give them a lot of props. They thought of a lot of things.
Yeah,
I mean there was a lot of meaningful things put on that car.
Their rack system is, I think, untouchable. I think you can build accessories that strap onto it, but nobody's going to outdo, because that thing.
And it weighs nothing, too.
So the Rivian rack system has 2 crossbars that can mount into little ports on the roof, but you can also pull those off and then open them up a little bit, make them wider, and then you can go on the bed.
Yeah.
Same exact thing. And you could actually buy another set and carry stuff on the roof and on top of the bed.
You could have 2 tents.
Yes, you could literally have 2 rooftop.
And no, but I mean, just like the other day, my kid, he's learning how to ride a bike. He's riding around, and I was watching him. He's having a hard time, and I went and squeezed the back tire, completely dead. So run up the hill.
Yeah,
and
got the compressor hose.
The truck
out.
unlocks because the cell phone's in my pocket. Yep. Flip down the thing, pull the hose out. Took maybe 4 seconds to inflate the tire because it's such a powerful compressor.
Lucky it didn't blow up.
No, it shuts off automatically. Right. No, it shuts. You set the PSI, and it shuts off automatically. So it's so much smart thinking went into the truck.
Yeah, absolutely,
mind blowing. Yeah.
So what other brands are you guys getting after? Lucid? How's your Nissan Leaf accessories coming out?
Full. That's our biggest priority.
Mansory Leaf.
I don't know anybody.
I'm terrible. That's awful.
I want the Mansory Leaf.
What other brands are you looking at?
Yeah, Lucid. Let's talk Lucid.
Lucid. I don't know.
Okay.
That's a question mark.
Okay.
Porsche, Audi, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taycan, e-tron GT.
And so what do you do, again, wheels? Like, what do you do with the Taycan?
Accessories.
Taycan
I mean,
or
it's got a lot of stuff, but accessories, a lot of EVs don't come with spare tires.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
I would say all of them, except for the Rivian, don't come with spare tires.
A lot of Rivians don't come with spare tires if you don't pay for them.
I paid.
But a lot of them, I don't even know this. So they don't come with them. But so what are you gonna do? Like, did they have room for one?
Yeah. In the floor of the cab.
So
the Taycan has room for
no, not in the Taycan, but we're talking about the Rivian.
Oh no, I'm saying. So what do you? But for what you said for Audi e-tron.
I thought. Oh yeah, I usually fix a flat kit.
Yeah, Teslas. You don't have a spare.
So where?
And there are, believe it or not, there are Tesla guys that know how to, and gals that know how to jack up their own car and change a spare.
So you're selling
tire.
them. You're selling them what are you selling them? A spare tire kit?
Yeah.
And that they keep in the garage?
No, they keep it in the trunk of the car.
They carry around a full size spare?
It's not a full size.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not a full size. Old school donut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Same factory diameter though.
And is that because with low profile tires are just more prone to getting flats? Or just some things people maybe want to spare and they couldn't get one from the factory?
Sure. People road trip.
Right.
This is wild.
Yeah.
So let me pause here because we didn't talk about because Johnny kept wanting to move on to the Rivian question. And so we're there. We're talking about your competitor.
Our truck of the year, Ed.
I know, but let's go back to.
He wants to get away from.
No, I'll go back to T Sportline just for a hot second. So, you guys claim to be, and it sounds like you are world's first Tesla tuner. We did have another guy on here, two guys actually, Ben Schaefer,
from Unplugged Performance,
and Randy Post from Unplugged.
Yeah.
Who are their timeline actually is very close. Unplugged started right around the same time, or maybe
not too far behind, I think.
And you guys are you guys are competitors because I looked up, I did a Google search of Tesla tuner.
Okay.
Congratulations, you're on page 1, very high in the page.
Yeah.
Just behind Unplugged Performance.
Got it. You mean you clicked on their ad?
We could check. It might have been SEM, search engine marketing. But I looked at your product offerings not accidentally. I'd already prepped for them. They do go after, I would say, a little bit more. They're more performance
they're
oriented.
track day
They're
stuff.
doing.
Oh yeah.
So so no dispute.
Yeah. No.
And I come back to what you said. You guys are sort of OEM plus.
Yeah.
OEM plus, is that, and that's.
We wanna sell accessories every day. They want to sell to the guy that wants to fine tune their car for the track.
And by the way, for
street.
people listening, OEM plus means like it looks like it came from the manufacturer.
And you're not going to void the warranty, essentially.
Correct.
Yeah. But
we are definitely not going to void the warranty.
Okay.
Right.
I cannot speak for them.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. I think once they do brakes and they do
But nobody is
suspension
touching
components.
Do you know of anybody in the Tesla or EV tuning space that is legitimately adding performance capability through the computer, through the software, through code? Or
there was one company, and I believe I saw it on Electric, and I can't remember.
And
but
Elon had the guy killed.
Maybe that, or there was a
That was a
caveat.
joke.
There was like a but.
Yeah.
This is what you got to compromise. Yeah.
is that? I mean, you're a guy who used to strap superchargers onto your German cars. Are you like?
I mean, these cars are so damn fast, man.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to say, I had that Lucid. It was the Grand Touring Performance just until a few hours ago. And, it's 1,050 horsepower. It, warps time and space on the freeway when you go to pass somebody.
Yeah.
Boy, it just doesn't need that. It just doesn't need any more,
Yeah.
So by the way, they have an 1,111 horsepair one if you do need more.
So let me get then.
Do you think the Plaid needs any more power?
Well, so then let me.
Needs more brakes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
indisputable.
Yeah. But the Lucid, for instance, doesn't. The brakes actually are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So okay, well then, this is a philosophical question that I'm going to ask a lot of people. It seems to me like electrification, they're going to solve for range. They're going to solve for range anxiety. A lot of that's happening right now.
Solved. Yeah.
The performance piece is actually getting to a point where it's kind of boring. Like, oh great, all electric cars are really fast. They're all like under 2.5 seconds, maybe under around 2.
Why is that boring? Why I reject that part. So I'm like, it's thrilling.
When they're all, it's from the Incredibles movie. Like when they're all
super.
When they're all super.
Right. No one's super.
Nobody's super. Like when they're all fast, like when performance becomes essentially commodified, like when all EVs are considered fast and the range isn't an issue anymore, what's in it? What is in it for the guy who wants to stand out? Or how do all these car companies exist with, right now you look at this, it's just a stunning a diversity of vehicles that you can go out and get for any need. But if they all go EV and everybody gets around 300 to 350 range and everything's pretty quick, do we need this many brands?
Well, I think it's I think it's also the same as there's going to be a performance package, right, for those cars that these manufacturers address. Like, hey, we can make a performance version. We can make it faster. Maybe.
We had Zinger on, right? The car goes 0. It's still gas and electric hybrid. 1.8 seconds.
I mean, who knows? No one's tested it. Who knows what?
Something like that, right?
Yeah. 253. Under two.
Legitimately under 2 seconds to 60, and a 250 plus mile an hour.
Yeah,
top
or
speed.
More because they have the new one coming out. Yeah.
I guess I'm trying to argue. Right now, there are like 2 mobile phones out there. There's iPhone, and there's something that runs Android.
Yes.
OS. Right. Back in the day, there was a StarTech. There was a.
Oh, I agree.
Well, I would disagree. Like, how many watch brands are there? You know what I mean? Like, especially if you're talking about high-end luxury stuff. Like, you can't really make somebody tried to make a luxury cell phone, total flop. But like for cars and watches, like it turns out more brands the better. I think
you got to get that. It's worth thinking about, but you have to get past that. I mean, the high-end watch market almost died when Quartz came out, right?
Yeah, but then came back with a vengeance, and now, I mean, I got my whatever watch magazine I subscribe to came yesterday with World of Wonders or Watches of
Revolution.
Wonders. No, I can't. The show that was just in Geneva, but like, the number of brands, putting out 6-figure watches is startling. Like, it wasn't 5. It was there was about 30 just in this one magazine, just from this one show. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's sort of no top. It's like, how many designer jeans are there, or whatever high-end jeans are there? Endless, countless. And I think we're going to see now that it's not, I don't say it's easier to make a car, but now that like you're not dealing with like firewalls and exhausts and all that kind of stuff, when it's just like batteries and motors and I think you're going to see more brands.
I think it's going to consolidate. No different than post-war. How many car manufacturers did we have in the U.S.?
Brands. Right.
30?
Right.
Something like that.
Plymouth went away.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, you're talking like Nash and stuff like that. Yeah.
Huh.
But I mean,
And now, how many do we have?
2.
Exactly.
Well, no, we have more because we have Lucid and Tesla and Rivian.
Right. Well, let's keep this train going. China. Are you looking at any of that? So now we've been talking about your business as being T Sportline selling here. Is it global? Are you moving?
We do. Yeah, Europe, Western Europe, niche countries, Japan, Korea, but definitely the Nordic countries where there's Teslas are the most common cars.
Yeah,
but not China.
No.
What about Chinese EV manufacturers? Are you looking at NIO or XPeng or BYD or any of these
guys? XPeng.
Yeah, we're well aware of them, but I think they would have to make it to American shores. I mean, we're really focusing on the American consumer first.
Okay.
Right. China has their own addressable market there with Tesla.
Right.
I mean, they're making all kinds of stuff for Teslas over there. The aftermarket. The aftermarket's a whole different world in China.
Oh yeah. Give us like a teaser. What is it?
Flashing lights, diamond quilted floor mats. You name it. It's
sounds like I got to get on Alibaba and look around.
Yeah,
it's all available.
They've got it all.
Be careful though; they'll take over your computer's camera.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is fascinating. So you're running T Sportline. The future seems set. The next big launch will be Cybertruck, and then you got this EV Sport line that's going to kind of cover everybody else. I kind of interrupted while we were talking about you're definitely on board with Rivian. You're kind of looking at Lucid.
No, but also you said Porsche and Audi.
Yeah.
What about Mercedes, like the EQS stuff?
Beautiful car. Not my cup of tea, but
great tech.
It's
brilliant.
It's loaded. It's a Mercedes.
Yeah. Brilliant.
BMW
brilliant
i4. There's definitely going to be some, aftermarket demand there.
Yeah.
I believe it's the right size car. I don't know about the price point, but
it's not crazy. It's not a crazy. It's like it's comparable to a Model 3 Performance. It's like 75.
Okay, 75.
How about Lexus? I was looking on the Janari Facebook page.
I've seen their NX, but there are
RZ.
I forget it. Yeah, their E.
Yeah,
I saw it at the Electrify Expo down in Long Beach. Last month, but we'll see.
Now, at some point,
I'm more excited about Kia and Hyundai.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
You saw that. You saw that N74.
The N22 like E Hyundai.
No. The 74 Vision concept.
The one that looks like
a Lancia and
a DeLorean. It's supposed to be.
Right. I saw that, but then they posted another one before that. It was looks like they want to make it a production car.
Oh no, yeah, it's the Ioniq 6.
The Ioniq 6.
No, not the Ioniq 6. This is like a sports car.
The sports version of the Ioniq 6.
Yeah.
I think which is an N.
The N. N22E, GT4 E Performance.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. No.
Porsche.
Look, and Genesis, by the way, is about to go full EV.
Okay, so then the existential question is: all manufacturers. This is again the name of the show is the InEVitable. We believe the choice everybody's going to make is not if they're going to go electric; it's when. The car companies are facilitating this because they're all releasing EVs. At some point, should it be even called EV Sportline? All cars will be EVs, right? You're going to be competing. If you're selling wheels, you're going to be competing against American Racing. You're going to be competing against everybody. Like anybody who sells a wheel now, they can make a wheel for an EV. So how do you set yourself apart as the maker of EV aftermarket parts if everything becomes an EV?
Well, there's a lot of aerodynamics, and you notice the design language of a lot of EV wheels. They're very flat, if you notice.
Yeah, for aero.
Yeah, for aero. For range. For the daily driver, it really doesn't matter. Okay. But
Yeah, for the mythical road trip, you need more range.
Yeah, like you're gonna drive without stopping to Florida.
Which seems to influence like 99% of all car purchasing decisions according to Instagram. Like everyone's like, wait, I can't fill up my gas tank in exactly 4 minutes. Like I'm not buying the car. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, Like a friend of mine just ordered a Lucid, for instance, and he's like, do I want the 19s or the 21s? And I'm like, you want the 21s. He's like, yeah, but 516 miles of range. And I'm like, 469 miles of range with the 21s. He's like, but I need that extra range. I'm like, for what?
Where's he going?
When's the last time you drove to Arizona without
I would tell him, take the smaller wheel for the better ride quality.
No, it rides fine on 21s.
It rides fine on 21s.
Yeah. It rides, and plus it looks so much better.
It does.
Yeah. See? Come on, Ed, get with it.
Get the smaller wheel, put white walls on.
You're not that old. I know. Come on. Anyway.
Well, look, it was great talking to you.
I was gonna say we're getting but we gotta. This is good. This is fun, and I'm gonna be checking in on Rivian because.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a great point. I never even thought of like how you would jack that thing up. No idea. I have a floor jack. That's how I do it.
Really? Have you done it?
No.
Okay.
But if you drop it down to 9.5, probably. I don't know. Great.
Okay.
T Sportline, if you're looking to fix up your Tesla or just want to poke around. EV Sportline for your other endeavors. Other EV needs. DJ Mr. Jon Pek.
Yeah, this was great, man.
Thank you so much for coming in, and it's great having you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.